And this is Loftcast with the Jeanieverse.
Hello, it's Loftcast with the Jeanieverse. And I'm super, as the kids say today, super thrilled to have Alistair McGowan.
They do say that, don't they?
They do say that,
Yeah.
Alistair. And we've just been talking a little bit earlier that I'm even older than Alistair, and he's incredibly kindly allowed himself to be on my Loftcast. And we've got Noel James behind the camera.
Meow.
And we're going to do some questions, and again, it's very hokey, but this is what Loftcast is about. It's not all slick and professional, it's kind of real and grounded and fun and silly, and I think thought-provoking, but Alistair will be the judge of that. So Alistair, bless you. Thank you so much for coming. Very trippy, this, I think. Yeah, it really has. I've been thinking about it, and I've been watching your videos, and to have you in my loft in Swansea, I suspect I'll wake up from a coma anytime soon.
There are lots of firsts in this for me too.
Honestly, it genuinely is a delight. So these are just questions. Don't feel you have to answer them. So the first one, if you had to wear animal ears for a month, which ears would you wear?
Not that question again, Jeannie.
Again?
Every podcast, Loftcast I do, it's always the same opening question. How many times?
Do you know?
Cat's ears.
Cat's ears.
Yeah. I think, well, would I? Yeah, I think cat's ears.
I mean, they would look lovely on you.
Thanks very much.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I do. I'm a bit in love with cat's ears.
Yeah. Been in love with cats, I suspect.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time in your own life at an age, so say for argument's sake, 36, but could keep all the knowledge and experience you had now, what age would you choose?
Whoa.
I know, right?
Oh. I don't know. I think maybe 39. I'd say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the year before you're a big number, you
Yeah.
always really worry about it.
Yeah.
And I think 39 was 1 year that I was really wasting mentally, because I kept thinking, I'm going to be 40 next year, I'm going to be 40, I'm going to be 40 next year. And so that was the one. And once I'd been 40, same when once you've been 50, it's fine.
Yeah, it is.
But there are those nines, so I'd go back to there and reassure myself.
So 39, but and presumably you would enjoy yourself probably a lot more because you wouldn't be worried.
Maybe, yeah. And also health-wise, that's the other thing. Getting on now, I mean, that's nearly 20 years ago, 39.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it, when you think people who are 20 years are in their 40s. No.
Yeah.
You're best known, I would say, still for your amazing impressions of people, but which person has made the strongest positive impression on you?
What, anywhere? Anybody?
Anywhere, anytime.
Oh, so many. But one person probably, or several teachers.
Yeah.
Several teachers. Let's leave parents out of this, otherwise I'll
Okay.
get
You
upset.
can't have parents and families and
we'll leave them
spouses.
out.
No, they're not
but
allowed.
I think I learnt a lot from fellow students when I was at university, particularly in Leeds. People who really formed my character. I saw how they were different from me, and took on some of their things, but I won't name them. But teachers deserve recognition. So I would say there's several teachers at school, but particularly a man called Jim Griffiths, who was from Larne, practically Swansea. And he had a huge influence on my understanding and appreciation of literature, particularly by introducing me to, and I'm not just saying this because I'm here, the work of Dylan Thomas, which opened my ears and my eyes to a whole new way of language and using language and words and thoughts and everything. I think anybody who studies language, when they come to Thomas, Dylan Thomas goes in a new way. He did that for me, and he was, again, just a very generous, thoughtful man. And one of his contemporaries there at my old school in Evesham was a man called David Forbert. And Mr. Forbert also was a man, I'd never met anybody like him before, and I carry around a lot of his teaching within me about life. Not so much about French, which he taught me, but just about life and dealing with life. And he was a really strong influence on me.
Oh, that's lovely. And it's really, shout out to the teachers, because I think we've all got teachers, good and bad. And when you do...
Especially the geography teachers who say that Larne is in Swansea. I mean...
How far is Larne?
It's quite far. It's probably nearer Carmarthen than Swansea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dylan Thomas came from both, didn't he? So, yeah.
Yes.
You're cheated.
And, and obviously shout out to Leeds as well, because it's just, the fact it's just we're just here to have fun, and, you don't have to answer anything. I believe time travel is real, and we've just lost the instructions or forgotten how to do it, or it's been kept from us. Where in time would you go, and one item you can take with you from now?
There's so many places I'd love to go.
I know, but come
You
on,
know,
Alistair,
but
this is the kind of
if
thing.
It's one question.
It's one.
It probably sounds really naff, but I've always, and having come here on the train today, you know, state of the railways now, I would like to go back to somewhere just pre-beaching and all the railway cuts.
Okay.
And to enjoy the sort of bluebell railways, the steam railways, when they were still, you know, not just tourist lines, but that was how you travelled.
Yeah.
I'd love to be on those trains, like in the Railway Children, and seeing that sort of world without losing your father to spies and without waving red knickers.
Well, yeah, ideally.
But that sort of life of the trains, the railways. So what are we talking? 1920s, maybe 30s. I know beaching was 60s, but when the trains were at their height and they went to all those little country stations, that's what I'd love to see. That world of people being polite and.
But don't you think it's a bit, maybe when we see images of it, it's idealised?
Always, yeah. But I'd like to see it just because the trains would have worked well. And my grandfather used to work on the trains.
My dad used to work as a signalman.
Really?
And I remember the old trains, the steam trains in Leeds Station.
Yeah.
And they were obviously gigantic, but you know, the old carriages.
Mm.
And, you know, and it was like the beauty, you know, the old like sort of velour or velvety kind of seats and the little tables. I mean, that kind of travel.
They'd have reeked of smoke. I mean, I remember some of those seats in the 80s and 90s. They reeked of smoke.
Everything's,
And they reeked of hair. Macassar, they called it.
Antimacassar, yeah.
So
Macassar oil, because the antimacassar's on the seats.
Yeah, so they were pungent. Yeah, it wasn't ideal. But I'd just like to see
there's just something lovely
a
about
functioning railway.
Rather than the rail replacement children.
Yeah.
Which is what you have.
But I'd like to see the proper booking office and the tickets and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you could do it if you go on these steam railway.
Well, there's one in Wales, isn't there?
There's a few. There's one up in North Wales, going up Snowdon. There's one there's one in Aberystwyth, I think.
But when you're with them and you get on them, you're with people with plastic bags and eating
No,
sandwiches
they
and
can't be
Sainsbury's
plastic on the
things.
train.
Yeah.
No.
So it's not the real experience. That's
It's
what I want to do,
flasks
the
and
real.
sandwiches, isn't
And
it?
there's also, going up to Brecon, there's an old, it's now a bike path, but that used to be a railway, and then beaching closed it down. I mean, they're everywhere. Yeah. It's a shame, really.
Yeah. Moving on. As a northerner, your impression of Michael Parkinson is one of my all-time favourites. Which is your favourite impression to do? Have you got a favourite impression that you always love to do?
There's loads. I always say to that. I mean, I used to love doing Parky. When I watched the programmes back of his after he died, it was extraordinary how he was such a part of my youth, and then again he came back just when I was doing my television show in the late 90s. So he was a massive part of me growing up and then me sort of being successful. So he sort of stands for a lot for me, Michael. And he had some wonderful habits that I used to